Hey everybody, Derek Brown here with another BEATBoX SAX Tuesday tutorial for you. In this installment, I'm going to be talking about an alternative way of double tonguing that I call flap tonguing. Now I say alternative because I made a tutorial a while back with the more traditional way of double tonguing, and I definitely encourage you to check that out. And the traditional way, of course, involves making a ta-ka-ta-ka type sound with your tongue. And breaking that down, that is the ta of the tip of the tongue releasing from the tip of the reed, and the ka is using the back of the tongue to block off the back of the throat. Now the hard part that people find when they do this, especially saxophone players, is getting that ka to sound just as crisp and clean as the ta part. And that's why I'm presenting this alternative way. As we know, brass players, a lot of flute players, and just a lot of wind players in general are now starting to are double tonguing, and mainly they use the taka-taka-taka approach. However, this flap tonguing approach has some nice benefits to it. A couple of drawbacks, but some nice benefits. And the biggest of those being, I think it's a lot easier to master early on. So how is this done? First of all, if my hand is going to represent the reed again, if I bring this up close, what I'm going to be doing is, as this is a double tongue, there's two parts. First of all, I'm going to drop the tongue to get the first sound, the ta, and then the second ta, just the second part of the tongue, is going to be the tongue then flipping up above the reed, and then after that point, it's going to alter up and down, and you can hear that reed flapping a little bit with my finger doing that. When I put the mouthpiece in my mouth and do it, but with my embouchure open so you can hear it, you can hear my tongue doing that. I'll move that up close so you can see. Now you might be wondering, does that hurt the tongue? And the truth is, yeah, after a while, or when you first start it, yeah, it can. Now I do use the Legere synthetic reeds, which maybe prevents me from getting blisters, from getting slivers. I don't know, but I've never had a problem with it splitting due to that practice of double tonguing. So check that out. But yeah, one of the downsides is I don't think you can do it quite as long because it will eventually wear the tongue. As far as I know, the tongue doesn't really develop calluses because it heals so fast, which is a blessing and a curse. Now, when you're trying this, you know, just take it really slow, and it's going to feel really weird, especially when your tongue goes up above the reed. It feels like you're committing some major sin of saxophone playing. But it is fine. It does work to do that. The hardest thing at first is going to be getting an even, consistent speed. You'll probably find that when you do it, you might get a kind of a more swing effect. Maybe the down is harder than up. So work on just getting a consistent and see if you can gradually speed that up. Of course, practicing with a metronome and using your internal clock at all times. Now, some of the benefits of doing this, I think it's a little bit easier to do legato double tonguing compared to the taka-taka approach. Here's me playing in a more legato style versus it is possible to get legato. I just think it's a little easier with this approach. Also, it's a little easier, I think, to do subtoning at the lower end of the horn. And the higher end of the horn, it's easier to get a clearer tone. With normal double tonguing, it's easy to kind of get the ta-kwa-kwa-kwa-kwa, where the pitch kind of bends a little bit due to the kind of added pressure up there. Whereas here with this flap tonguing, and finally, as an added bonus, if you are a circular breather, I've found that you can actually do this flap tonguing while circular breathing. So that is a cool, very cool added bonus if you do that. One last downside, I find it a little bit harder to go quite as fast. Here's my normal double tonguing. You can see how fast I can go. And here is my now flat tonguing. It's actually pretty close. Anyway, so there it is. So hopefully one of these double tonguing approaches works for you, and that you can add it to your playing, because it's a lot of fun and it opens up a lot of cool rhythmic ideas that you can't really do with just one single tongue. So without further ado, see you guys next time. Happy practicing.